Howdy sinners and saviors, Buck Jacuzzi here, broadcasting straight from a hot tub hotter than Paula White's prophecies. And today, we got ourselves a doozy. Donald J. Trump held a National Day of Prayer event so weird, even his hair tried to rapture itself halfway through. Now, I ain't one to mock a prayer circle, unless that circle includes Dr. Phil, 38 hypothetical virgins in a comb-over doing cartwheels under God's good sunlight. But saddle up, 'cause this one's holier than thou and dumb as ever. So picture it. The rose garden, 90 degrees in the shade, Trump sitting behind a desk outside like a confused telemarketer at a church picnic, sweat glistening, hair gliding, and in the middle of Amazing Grace, his follicular situation starts flapping like a gospel flag in a Pentecostal tent revival. Now, before we get to the divine delusions of that afternoon, let's take a quick trot down memory lane. This is the same man who once tried to quote 2 Corinthians like it was a Marvel sequel.
We're going to protect Christianity, and I can say that. I don't have to be politically correct, or we're going to protect it. You know? And I asked Jerry and I asked some of the folks, because I hear this is a major theme right here, but 2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 3:17, that's the whole ball game. Where the Spirit of the Lord, right? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And here there is Liberty College, but Liberty University. But it is so true. You know, when you think, and that's really, is that the one? Is that the one you like? I think that's the one you like, because I loved it. And it's so representative of what's taken place.
The guy who held a Bible upside down during a protest photo op probably thought it was a Gideon brand menu. And y'all remember when he sold $60 God Bless Trump Bibles on his website like they came with a scratch and sniff prayer cloth and a free steak? Yeah, that's the spiritual titan we're talking about. Back then, Trump couldn't name a verse, spell Psalm, or find Genesis without a Sherpa. But now, after surviving an assassination attempt, he's strutting around like a redemptive action figure, Messiah Man trademark, now with bonus executive orders and resurrection powers. So back to the Rose Garden Prayer Palooza. Trump's spiritual advisor, Paula White, America's favorite televangelist, not currently under federal investigation, gets up there calling for divine dreams and supernatural protection. Ma'am, he already got supernatural protection. It's called money and lawyer. One man kneeled before Trump mid-ceremony like he was about to get knighted with a mega sword. Another raised his hands to the sky, probably hoping God would beam him up before the hairpiece achieved liftoff. And Trump, oh, he's loving it. He declares, "We're bringing religion back," like it's a discontinued McRib. Then he says the quiet part loud. "They told me about separation of church and state." I said, "Let's forget about that, Zaya." Buddy, that ain't how any of this works. You don't forget about constitutional principles like they're expired coupons. That's like telling a lifeguard, "Let's forget about flotation devices while you paddle toward a hurricane."
They say separation between church and state, they told me. I said, all right, let's forget about that for one time. We said, really, the separation? I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure. But whether there's separation or not, you guys are in the White House where you should be, and you're representing our country, and we're bringing religion back to our country, and it's a big deal.
But it don't stop there. Oh no, Trump gets on a weird tangent about 72 virgins, then ad-libs his own version. What about 38 virgins? Which is either a cultural gaffe or the strangest Black Friday deal I've ever heard. And then, because nothing says pious humility like celebrity cameos, he invites Dr. Phil on stage. Y'all, Dr. Phil, at a prayer event. I guess Joel Osteen was busy polishing his jet skis. Dr. Phil proceeds to declare he's proud to see religion back in the White House, which I think is code for please don't drag me into this.
I've sat with President Trump with no cameras around, nobody listening, nobody watching. And I'm telling you, this is a man of deep faith, a man of deep conviction. And this is a man that wants this country to have a heart and have religion. And God bless America for giving us President Donald Trump.
Oh, and if you were waiting for something policy-related, fear not. Trump unveiled his big achievement, a religious liberty commission featuring such spiritual giants as Ben Carson, Dan Patrick, and whoever didn't say no fast enough. Now, to be clear, this wasn't just some Sunday school sing-along. Trump used this whole event to throw jabs at Biden, repeat election lies, and ramble about the Olympics, the World Cup, and how he personally delivered all 250 years of American history himself, like a bald eagle in a red tie.
This is a religious ceremony to me, but that's part of the religion. Because if your taxes go up 68%, you might give up your religion. You might have no choice. You'll be working too hard to try and make it. And that's the Democrats. These will be the biggest tax cuts in American history, with 100% expensing, which is something that people cannot believe they're getting. We did it in the last one, and we had the most successful economy in my first 4 years that we've ever had, the history of our country. And expensing was one of the things that led to that. And increasing take-home pay for the typical family and very simply, to finish that, we will make America rich and healthy again. And why don't we say rich, healthy, and religious again, okay? Shall I add that for this group? Right, Dan Patrick? And in just a few moments, I'll also be signing an executive order creating a presidential commission on religious liberty, which is really why we're here, more than any other reason.
And while people were wiping sweat from their brows, hoping the Lord would take the wheel, or at least the mic, Trump sat there like some kind of toad king of evangelical America, soaking in praise like it was a golf club membership. But I gotta say, the funniest moment of all wasn't the kneeling, or the Amazing Grace remix, or even the spontaneous Constitution shredding. It was the moment Trump's hair reached heavenward, caught a whiff of that Holy Spirit, and tried to ascend without him. Final takeaway, Trump ain't a man of faith. He's a man of fan fiction, and this whole pageant was less spiritual awakening and more tent revival meets cable access fever dream. So next time you hear Trump talking about prayer, just remember, the only thing more artificial than that speech was the scaffolding on his scalp. Now go on and hit that subscribe button, for Trump replaces the 10 Commandments with the art of the deal. Stay warm, stay woke, and stay soaked. I'll see y'all next time in the tub.